It's up to you, New York, New York.
Good morning. Good morning. It's the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on YouTube and Facebook. I am your host, Richie, also the co-host of Talk of New York. On today's show, I'm riding solo. Want to hit on the huge Cleveland Cavaliers victory over the Detroit Pistons. James Harden really taking a page from his younger years, getting it done, making sure that he constantly got to the free throw line. Now, going into these playoffs, because I didn't want to jinx my beloved New York Knicks, I did pick the Cavaliers to win the conference and play the Knicks. The only thing I really got wrong in my Eastern Conference bracket was that the Celtics were going to get knocked out in round one. I did not see that happening. But as yesterday's game goes, I can't really say I'm surprised. While I know that each of these teams would present a legitimate challenge to the New York Knicks, the ugly part of Detroit came out yesterday, and that's going through some real droughts of trying to find offense. And I think Cleveland did a good job of, kind of blocking out the noise, so to speak, as being a home team. This is a Detroit team that hasn't had um, this good of a chance to be a champion since the Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton era, the Bad Boys 2.0. But the scoring drought towards the end of the fourth quarter, where the Cavs outscored them 13-0 down the stretch, is the story. And it carried into overtime. James Harden was able to get to the free throw line. Cleveland losing a challenge did not come back to bite. Cade Cunningham late in the game looked like he was going to shave the lead down to one, accidentally stepped on the three-point line a la Kevin Durant against Milwaukee some years back as he was a member of Brooklyn. But this puts the Cavs in a position to close it out at home. Going into these playoffs, I did predict the Cavaliers over the Pistons in round 2 and 6. So we'll see if it comes to fruition. But similarly to what I said about the Orlando Magic when they had their chance to put away Detroit, it has to happen in game 6 for Cleveland, because Detroit, in my opinion, will not squander another opportunity to get the big playoff win at home. And this was a series where nobody on the road was able to come away with a win. So big time victory. And as I said, this is a character defining moment for James Harden. We know what Donovan Mitchell brings. We know what Strus brings defensively. We know what this team in Cleveland brings. But James Harden has had a bad reputation for kind of disappearing in some of these big games. And it's been a legacy thing, but he most definitely came through yesterday. I feel that Mike Bredico kind of jinxed him at the free throw line, because going into those final free throws, he took 4 towards the end of the game. I believe he was 31 of 32, which is exceptional. He ended up going 50% on each trip to the line down the stretch. But between Detroit turning the ball over and Detroit just not shooting the ball well at all, Cleveland was able to overcome that. And I'll say it now, Cleveland in 6. The New York Knicks, I think this is a good situation no matter how you cut it. If the series goes 6 or 7, the Knicks have had time to rest. Particularly good news for OG Anunoby. who is a huge part of what the Knicks try to do. I think guys have stepped up. Deuce McBride, Shamet has stepped up, Alvarado has stepped up, and even in terms of the big men, when Mitch or Cat or both have gotten into foul trouble early, Huck Porty has definitely stepped up. This Knicks team is clicking on all cylinders, and I think some people worry that they may have too much time off. But congrats to the Cavaliers. They're one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think they're going to wrap it up. I say to my friends that are Knicks fans, Knicks Nation in general, be careful what you wish for. While I understand that Detroit would have home court advantage if we ran into them, if James Harden is playing his game, that is problematic, perhaps. Now, the Knicks, of course, are going to have home court advantage if they play the Cavs. These are the two teams in the East that the Knicks struggled with the most. And it's not supposed to be easy. I want to make that clear. None of this is supposed to be easy. I personally think the Knicks would beat either one of these teams. We're going to find out. But in the event that it is Detroit, of course, Cunningham brings a problem because he is a big guard. And, that could be problematic on defense for Jalen Brunson. But the one thing that I do like if we end up getting Detroit is what I just said, the offensive struggles. They have a propensity for going in the tank on offense, where the Knicks offense pretty much since game 3 of the Atlanta series has been coming rather easy. They've been able to score points in bunches. They're really into their offense. And it's not just the starters. I mean, going all the way down to your deep reserves. So a very interesting potential series between Cleveland and the Knicks, as Mike Brown, once upon a time coached the Cavaliers and helped LeBron James get to his first NBA Finals before running into a buzzsaw that was Greg Popovich's San Antonio Spurs. So give me the Cavs in 6. We got another big game in the association tonight as the San Antonio Spurs look to close out the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Minneapolis. And this is my thing. This series should probably already be over. Victor Wembanyama had a horrible game 1, and of course he was tossed out in game 3. He's the X factor. I expect him to have a big one here. I give Minnesota a lot of credit for hanging tough. They just the way that they overcame the Denver Nuggets in round 1 is something to be proud of. And this is a team that has gone to 2 consecutive Western Finals. But I believe it's San Antonio's time. And if it is indeed San Antonio, they match up very well with the defending world champion Oklahoma City Thunder. And I think we're going to be in for a classic in the Western Conference if that does indeed come to fruition. Now, before I move it along to baseball, doing a quick one here today, I want to hit on LeBron James. After the Lakers' disappointing sweep at the hands of the Oklahoma City Thunder, LeBron James will be entering free agency again, and a lot of indications are pointing to, if he is indeed done with the Los Angeles Lakers, he still wants to play. Now, 2 teams that are currently in the playoffs, I think those are the 2 most realistic destinations for LeBron. The Cleveland Cavaliers goes without saying. This would be his 3rd and final stop with Cleveland. He helped bring them their only championship after breaking the hearts of the city when he took his talents to South Beach. At this juncture of LeBron James' career, I see him as a leader of the second unit, a guy that could definitely start on certain situations depending on rosters. I think he'd be a great help for Cleveland. Of course, assuming that Cleveland wants to bring that circus back in, I would say they would be up for it. Now, this one might be a little more interesting. My New York Knicks. I will say this. I would feel more comfortable if the Knicks win the championship this year and then LeBron comes over. Because I'm not going to lie. I would hate the narrative saying that LeBron was the missing piece if the Knicks don't win it this year, and then let's say LeBron signs and comes over. Whatever the case may be, the reason why I think LeBron James makes a lot of sense for this New York Knicks team, well, for one, he has a history with head coach Mike Brown. That same Mike Brown that helped him go to his first NBA Finals appearance. When I consider that the guy in my avatar, Jalen Brunson, has done so much in terms of carrying this organization, it takes a lot of pressure off him. LeBron is a multifaceted player where he could play point guard as a big point. He could obviously play power forward. He could play small forward. He could be a two in certain situations. I like the idea of LeBron coming over as a free agent, but being, a very important bench piece where he's still going to get some really good minutes. Now, some would suggest that if you get LeBron, Josh Hart hits the bench. That's also a possibility. Either way, I think it would be beneficial for this Knicks roster if they are able to add a talent like LeBron, even an aging one, because I think LeBron proved in this season with the Los Angeles Lakers that it's not about being a starter, it's about being a team guy. And I think in that regard, it could work. Now, it's a weird one for me because I'm the furthest thing from a LeBron fan. Pretty much after he went to Miami, it kind of just turned me off. I did care to watch his games and was a fan of his early in his career with his first Cleveland stint. But, I'm not going to sit here and tell you as a Yankee fan that I was a big A-Rod guy before he came over. And I wasn't exactly a big A-Rod guy during some of his shenanigans. But it's also always what's best for the team. And I think it would be intriguing to see if the Kings' final act is in Madison Square Garden. Would be very interesting to see how it plays out. One thing I am pretty confident of is that LeBron James is not done playing. Whether his critics believe that that's smart or not, I get it. But he is making history, like him or not, playing at the level that he is, at the age that he is. So stay tuned on that. Tonight we have the NFL schedule release, an exciting time for football fans as they can map out where they are going to be watching games around the country, whether it be a return to home if you live out of state. In my case, the New York Giants play in Jersey. I live in Florida. Or maybe making a road trip. We already know in terms of the Giants schedule that November 10th, they're going to be playing the Washington Commanders. And on the opener on September 13th, Sunday Night Football, they have a showdown with the Dallas Cowboys. But always an exciting time for football fans nationwide and worldwide for that matter. Football is definitely in the global realm as they keep playing in Germany and other countries. But excited to see how this plays out. Excited to see who the Giants are playing when. We know the schedule. We know the opponents, rather. We're going to find out the schedule. Before I get out of here, I want to hit on round one of the 2026 Subway Series. My buddy John Coutinho was on the show yesterday. He is my future co-host of Talk of New York, as we are still finalizing the deets to make that a full flow podcast. Shouts out Jay DiMaggio. John said it best yesterday. It seems like the New York Mets always catch the Yankees when they are very vulnerable. Now, I am not putting in a pre-made excuse. Yankees are a better team. Yankees are supposed to figure out how to do this. But I love the intensity of this Subway Series, and it culminates later in the year during 9/11, and that will be in the Bronx, the 25th anniversary. I was in the building for the 20th anniversary, and I must admit, it was one of the most electric atmospheres I've ever been at for a baseball game. It was a different kind of deal. But right now, the New York Mets are playing a little better, giving themselves a little hope. But with Cam Schlittler getting the ball, assuming that it's not a rain out, I noticed that there's going to be some tough weather coming into Flushing. I expect the Yankees to take 2 out of 3 in this series. We're going to be patiently waiting to see what the story is with Max Fried. And while we hope the best, one thing I will say is that we are fortunate as Yankee fans, as the Yankees are fortunate, that they have a lot of pitching depth. But you definitely hope the best for Max Fried. He brings so much to the table when he's healthy. And the Yankees just have to play better baseball. They catch a little bit of a break with the Tampa Bay Rays losing a rare game as they've been on fire. But they lose a game to the Blue Jays last night as the lead remains at 2 games early on in the American League East. What else on the brain? What else on the brain? Kind of curious to see how this Ronda Rousey match goes. She was always box office in terms of UFC. So I will be tuning in Saturday night to see how she makes out. I don't really have a dog in that fight. I just want to see a good fight. So it will be interesting to see how Ronda Rousey's match plays out. And I think that's about it for today. Kind of a little impatient with the basketball because the Knicks were really on fire. But that's the other price you pay when you get out of a round so quickly while it's good to rest. You hope as a fan, hope as a player that they come back on fire because it's a really great momentum that kind of ceases. But the Knicks definitely need the rest. It's a long season. And I must admit that, with the exception of the latter part of Patrick Ewing's career, where I really felt that they did a great job of bringing in a lot of talent, this is the most talented Knicks team in quite some time, the most capable Knicks team in quite some time, as I feel that the depth of this particular Knicks team is really there. But what's most encouraging, these guys really play for each other. I have waited my whole life to see a Knicks championship. Will this finally be the year? At minimum, and I said it when the season started, anything short of an NBA Finals appearance would be deemed a failure. Let's go Knicks, Yankees, pick your chins up. It's time to start playing some better baseball. Adversity happens to every team. The Dodgers are banged up too. There's a lot of injuries around baseball. Never an excuse to play that poorly, though. I'm Richie for Talking New York and for the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the NFL schedule release. Enjoy the NBA game if that's what you're getting into. And enjoy the fact that the Yankees won't lose today because they have a day off. Yeah, I'm getting on you Yanks just a little, but I expect much better in the near future. I'm out. Have a great day.